Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. So the important news and editorial that will be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 28th of February. The first important news, that is understanding the organ on a chip. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu. Second, Buddhist stupas found in Odisha. Will see the detail and significance of the stones. Third, center planned regulation for uniform board of examination. Second last, that is India top list of global internet shutoff. And the last is an editorial unpacking the new set of e-waste rule. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for examination purposes, do press a like button. And a reminder about the personalized mentorship support program that we are providing. This is something that will help you to provide a guide for the entire part of the journey of civil services, where the integrated and individual preparation will be focused, weekly assignment and Sunday tests will be provided, regular in-personal mentorship for every candidate who will be enrolled, coverage come revision target plan will be there. There's scientific performance tracking system that we are incorporating in the mentorship support program. So this is completely a personalized program. If you are looking forward for your civil services career, do check it out. Even you can visit our website for more details. You can just see the description link also where the details are provided. Now, moving to the news discussion part, that is understanding the organ on a chip, something important for General Studies paper 3. Under the subtopic of general studies, that is achievement in science and technology, something very important, very significant. Any development across the globe when it comes to science and technology become very important for UPSC prelims examination per se. So this time the concept is about organ chip, right? We'll see the detail is actually encapsulated in United States. So in 2022, the United States government has passed the Food and Drug Administration Modernization Act 2.2, right? So this act aims to improve the process of approving the drugs and commits to significantly reduce the use of animals, which include dogs, primates and other animal in the laboratory testing. तो इस खास करके रूल्स की बात करें मॉडर्नाइजेशन एक्ट 2.0 की, उसके बाद exempt की गई है for the uses or the testing that were done in the animals. The move is expected to boost the research and development of organ chip. Now, there will be shift in the trend where the development of organ chip and its experiment will be taken care of. Now, what is organ chip? Basically, this is an image that will help you understand how it's actually look like. So the organ chip are a small device containing human cells that are used to mimic the environment in a human organ. So this is like your body, like liver, heart, whatever is functioning, it actually mimic the part of a human organ, including the blood flow, breathing movement, serving as a synthetic environment to which a new drug can be tested. So if animal has been exempted or excluded from the part of experiment, now the new mechanism of organ chip will function. So this is significantly very important. The first human on chip model was there in 2010, and it was a lung on chip that mimicked the biochemical aspects of a lung and its breathing motions. Now, about the procedures that for the inductions of a new drug take place, how does the medical fraternity work in terms of basically if a new drug is tested, there are certain procedures and set of rules that has to be there. So in the introductions of a new drug, first researcher identify chemical compound, पहले उसकी chemical compositions देखी जाती है, then they used to treat it with particular modeling and other techniques. So a thing has to be, beforehand an idea is there that we are testing on this particular chemical on this particular organism. Now, at this stage, the preclinical trial is there. I think during COVID-19, most of you must be aware that during the vaccine entire manufacturing, there was pre-trial, then there's post-trial, something that is essentially required for a new drug, right? So pre-trial stage is there where scientists determine whether the drug and toxics or not, उसकी किस तरह से efficacy है, क्या conditions है, कितने negative effect है, what are the side effects of the drug, which particular organ is being impacted. So everything are taken care in a preclinical trials, right? Now animal used, like some of the animal that is still used is mice, rats, hamster, guinea pigs, depending upon the drugs to be tested. So drugs की efficacy को देखते हुए animal choose की जाती है. If it's a low power drugs, then a rats and mice is used. If it is a high power drug, then accordingly pigs and other animals are used. Now, if the trials are favorable, a researcher can begin on human trial. So once the confirmation is there that there is no side effect on animal, the scientist or the doctors under the expert supervision take care to the human level. And again, there's certain duration upon which the trial is completed. Now, fewer than 10% of the new drug that complete the preclinical studies, fewer than 50% eventually succeed to complete the clinical trial. Now, in most of the cases, specifically in India, में भी आपने देखा होगा कई ऐसे vaccines आए during COVID-19. There was nasal vaccines, there were intranasal vaccines, there were like spray kind of things were there, which was acting on, acting as a barrier to your nasal cavity. So everything undergo with a preclinical trial, and once the efficacy rates, once we have success rate on them, then only it is being given to a normal citizen and it is released to the market. Now, development of a different organ chip, किस तरह से और organ chips developed की गई हैं across the globe. So in 2014, the West Institute members have launched a startup called Emulate In, और उसने कमर्शलाइज की उस टेक्नोलॉजी को, और इस ग्रुप ने कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट जो ऑर्गन है बॉडी के उसके लिए चिप्स बनाई हैं. सो दिस पार्ट इंक्लूड द बोन मैरो, विच इज अगेन वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट फॉर अ ह्यूमन बॉडी, epithelial barrier, lung, gut, kidney and vagina. So these are some of the important organs which the company has taken that they will be manufacturing the chip. If further required, they will make it post process depending upon the requirement for a particular disease, or even if a specific requirement is for an individual. Now recently, the Emulate liver chip was successfully predicted, and this ability to drug cause a liver injury, 87% of the sensitivity and 100% of the specificity. तो अभी recent में liver के ऊपर chips बनाई गई हैं, which is actually working out. Success rate के हिसाब से 87% की sensitivity है और 100% की specificity. Now the researcher used the liver chip to evaluate the toxics effect of 27 drugs on the either safe or the safe use of injuring the human being. So how a drug, like the list of 27 drugs were tested, उनकी efficacy देखी गई, उनके side effects देखे गए, how it can injure a human lungs, everything was studied on a broad spectrum. Now, organ chip in India की अगर बात करें, something that is important if you're talking about something which is there at the global level, what is the status in India is again very important. If you're writing in mains paper, make sure you highlight this point. So few researcher group in India is also developing an organ on chip model, और इसमें कुछ टीम ऑफ एक्सपर्ट्स ने काम की है, लाइक इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ केमिकल टेक्नोलॉजी मुंबई, दे हैव डेवलप्ड स्किन ऑन चिप मॉडल, राइट? वी हैव नॉट एडवांस्ड एट सच लेवल, द ऑर्गन लेवल, बट एट द इनिशियल लेवल दैट इज देयर ऑन द स्किन ऑन चिप. द मॉडल इज करेंटली बीइंग टेस्टेड on skill irritation and toxicity. The group is also developing a retina on chip model together. So we can expect that this will further deepen down and other parts of the organ will also be explored on a chip. Now the expert team are also separately developing a placenta on a chip model that will definitely help in terms of childbirth, in terms of the fetus further development and studying the genetics part of the fetus. Now, the group assisted by the professor of biotechnology at Savitribai Phule, Pune. This is the university at Pune. They have also developed an infection on chip model to recreate a human skin wound infection state. That how further we can study on that part, and the other sort of thing that is involved in terms of a wound healing. There are a lot of procedures. There's blood clotting. There's essential part of vitamin K that is there. I'm not getting into the details of that biological aspect because that's not relevant for examination purposes. Now the goal is to make the infection that does not heal despite the prolonged and repealed antibiotic treatment. So further, excellence will be there in terms of the wound infections, their recovery, and definitely there will be a lot more improvement when it comes to the part of the scientific development, and a lot more other organ will also be explored. Now, ready to use organ on chips की अगर बात करें, some of the organ on chip is developed by Indian scientists, right, as a drug test beds in a lab setting, but they do not can be decade away from factoring the preclinical trial. This stage it's not in the ready one. The expert are of the opinion that industries on organ as at the naive stage, अभी बहुत ही इंडिया में flourishing stage पे है, अपने premature stage पे है. It will take its due course of time. Then only we can advance on the organ on chip mechanism. Now the industry adopt this technology provided they can forge a good collaborations with academia, the access to program to popularize the technology, and even the government support is required. Why government support? Because government will provide once, it will provide the financial support, and other second, it will call for the regulation part. So these two are mandatorily something coming from the government's end. Now, moving to the other news, Buddhist stupa found in Odisha, something important for General Studies paper 1, that is Indian culture, that will cover salient aspect of art form, literature, architecture from ancient to modern times. So recently the ASI, that is Archaeological Survey of India, have stumbled upon means they have accidentally found something. So this is a word that is used. So they have stumbled upon 1300-year-old Buddha stupa right in the middle of a mining site in Odisha, Jajpur district, where the Khondalite stone, three things is important. Khondalite stone were supplied to the bifurcations project around 12th century at Sri Jagannath Temple, Puri. So one, this is a Buddhist site. Where it was found? It was found in Odisha, Jajpur district. And which particular stone or part of thing has been explored? It is a Khondalite stone. I'll tell you the detail about the Khondalite. This can be again significant for prelims examination. UPSC can ask you a direct question on the Khondalite. No, basically UPSC go into the backgrounder part of any news. It will never ask the thing which is in the limelight. So Khondalite stone as a geographical concept is important, right? Now, the another stupas that has been found has been completely destroyed due to mining. So there were mining activities that were ongoing, and due to this mining activities, some of the part were destroyed, but to a larger extent, ASI has restored some of this part. The initial statement showed that the stupa could be 4.5 meter tall and may belong to 7th to 8th century, right? So I'll show you an image of Jagannath Puri temple complex. This is how it actually looked like. And the order has been given by ASI to stop the mining part, right? After the discovery of the Buddhist stupa, the mining side, the ASI has intervened and they have asked the Odisha government to stop the mining, right? The mining was for Odisha Mining Corporation. They have given the order that it should be immediately stopped, although Odisha government ने इसके cognizance ली है और अब वहाँ पे mining को stop कर दिया गया. The archaeological asset found in the Parabadi is again situated near the Lalitgiri, which is among the Buddhist complex in the region and has a large number of stupas and monasteries. Now, Khondalite stone, as I've told you, this is the more part of emphasis on our discussion. So, Khondalite stone किस तरह की stone होती है? ये एक foliated metamorphic stone है. Again, something very important for prelims examination. And it is named after Khond tribe, Khond tribe which belongs to the region of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. तो उन ट्राइब्स के ऊपर ही ये नेमिंग की गई है इस स्टोन की, दैट इज कॉल्ड Khondalite stone, right? So basically why they have been named, the example rocks were found in inhabited hills of the region of the eastern India. Now Khondalite is found in the eastern Ghat between the Vijayawada and Cuttack in India, and Khondalite stone were widely used in the ancient temple complexes. So these are the two images. This is how the Khondalite stone actually look like, and this is an image that has been made using the Khondalite stones. Mostly अगर उड़ीसा की बात करें या फिर विजयवाड़ा रीजन की बात करें, वहाँ जितने भी स्कल्पचर्स बनाए गए हैं Khondalite stone के बनाए गए हैं. Even for the part of the Sun Temple which is there at Odisha in Bhubaneswar, that the most part is also the Khondalite stone and other sandstone materials. Now, Abada scheme, which is there by the Odisha government, the government has come up with an ambitious plan to spend around 3,208 crores to augment the basic amenities and development of heritage and architecture called as Apida. And the scheme is in 3 year transforming Puri temple complex into a World Heritage Site. So Government of India, basically, this is completely a program which is there by the Odisha government. Even to a larger extent, there's no support from the central government because this is completely a project of a state government. So the state cabinet has approved this much amount and they're looking forward to further augment it to many other spots which is there in Odisha. Now, the next course of action, definitely Archaeological Survey of India has taken the cognizance and they will decide to fully retrieve the structural archaeological heritage, restore the original form that will undertake and protect the site. ASI has also demanded the state government to conduct heritage assessment, particularly when it is situated in the place of archaeological interest between the permission of the mining. So the due process of law will be followed. If any mining that is taken place, a proper NOC and proper part of the survey will be done. If any restoration is required or any part of the monument that is recovered will be informed and intimated to the ASI. Now, moving to the other news, Center plan regulatory body for uniform board of examination. So there will be a uniform regulatory body like for competitive examination in India. We have NTA, National Testing Agency, जो कि बहुत सारे competitive examination के लिए CBSE या 12th level पे exams करवाती है. उसी तरह से uniform board बनाने की बात की गई है government की तरफ से. This is something important for General Studies paper 2 under the subtopic of General Studies, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. Now, what the government has decided according to the educational testing services, this is an entity or this is an part of a company, you can say. This is ETS. उनके जो CEO है उन्होंने कहा that India's first national assessment regulator Parak will be much needed uniformity in the assessment of more than 60 board that is operating in our country. So there will be a uniformity, it will take its due time and then a platform will be created where everything will be made uniform. Now regulatory platform की अगर बात करें, this will be done by ETS known as Education Testing Services and has been chosen by the NCRT, right? NCRT ने ETS को choose किया है कि आप regulatory platform बनाएं और सारे examination को uniform करें, खास करके जो board level पे examinations हैं. Now ETS की बात करें, it was established in 1947 and it is an internationally recognized to conduct the examination of TOEFL, that is test for English and foreign languages, and GRE जिसे graduate recognition examination कहते हैं. If you want to take admission abroad, these are the 2 examinations that you have to pass, right? Now ETS, which has been picked up to as a consultation with the help to NCRT, will initiate the 3-year contract. So 3-year के लिए company को contract दी गई है and they will provide a roadmap how the uniformity in the examination can be there. Now about PRAC, something important for your examination, although there can be a direct question from this. So PRAC stands for the Performance Assessment Review Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. This was in the vision for new education policies के जो standards हैं उसके गाइडलाइन में जो असेसमेंट सिस्टम है इंडिया की, जो इवैल्यूएशन सिस्टम है स्कूल के बोर्ड एग्जामिनेशन में, उसको ठीक करने के लिए प्लेटफॉर्म बनाई गई है. Now, PARAC has been launched to part of the implementation of the National Education Policy, that is NEP 2020, right? And it has set certain standard and advised school board about the new assessment program, the latest research and the collaboration that can be made. It also advised the school board regarding the new assessment pattern and latest research promoting the collaborations between the school boards, and PARAC as a constituent unit of NCRT. Now, motto क्या है PARAC की? अगर बात करें PARAC, it's a global model. It's a part that will serve as a global level, and it will help to build a world-class assessment learning system that will deliver first high-quality student outcome. Second, it will call for advanced education and also improving millions of lives. So certain parameters has been set to augment the overall part of the education system in our country, the assessment system, the learning process that will be there. Now, moving to the other news, India topped the list of global internet shutdown of something important for General Studies paper 2 under the subtopic, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from it, design and implementations. So according to the latest report, which was published by Access Now and Keep It On Coalitions, इन्होंने कहा है कि इंडिया में जो शटडाउन है इस ईयर 84 टाइम्स रिपोर्ट की गई है अक्रॉस द नेशंस and even the shutdown for the 5th year in the row. So highest and like among any country. And this is something which the government of India should be concerned of. The shutdown were ordered by various accounts, including the protest, conflict, school examination, and elections. Telecom operator has raised issues of business disruption owing to the internet shutdown. Now, अगर cases की बात करें internet shutdown की, in the report that was published, it says that 49 times of the shutdown were there in the state of Jammu Kashmir, जो कि highest among all the state. This was include the 16 back-to-back order with a long shutdown in January and February in the region. उसके अलावे राजस्थान में impose की गई है shutdown, followed by West Bengal 7 times. And since India has accounted for approximately 58% of the documented shutdown globally. Now, to give you a broader idea how there's like Jammu and Kashmir said 56% of the internet shutdown, right? And the other states include Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Bihar, Assam, and Arunachal Pradesh. So these were the states where actually shutdown of internet were there. Now, specifically about no signals, right? An hour of no signals की अगर बात करें state-wise internet shutdown में ये report. This is a map. Even you can take this screenshot. Precisely, the data is not important, but you should know the chronology, like which state has a maximum number of the no signal or internet shutdowns. Now, rules for internet shutdown. क्या कोई provisions हैं constitutions में जिसको basically the state government take into account and empower that this action should be taken? Yes, there is a decision, there is a rule. Currently, the internet shutdown orders are governed under the temporary suspension of telecom services, which is Public Emergency and Public Safety Rule 2017. So, जो भी government है, whether it's a state government, whether it's central government or state government, they take the decision under this rule. The rule is framed by Department of Telecommunications and says that the temporary suspension can be there due to public emergency and also for the public safety. And senior bureaucrats from Home Ministry and Central State have used this power for the internet shutdown depending upon the condition and situations. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, that is unpacking the new sets of e-waste rule, something important for General Studies Paper 3 under the subtopic, that is the conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation, and EIA. Now, what we'll be discussing in this editorial, the first is theme. The theme is about the new e-waste rule and its challenges. And some of the important issues include the EPR, that is extended produced responsibility. I think most of you must be aware of this. Second, we'll see the new e-waste management rule 2022. उसके क्या-क्या shortcomings हैं उसे देखेंगे, and the way forward that India can do, and definitely that is a must. Now, to give you a definition of electronic waste, what is e-waste? E-waste refers to all electronic and electronic equipments and its parts that has been discarded by owner or waste without intended to reuse. तो ऐसे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक पार्ट्स, ऐसे इक्विपमेंट जिसकी रीयूज नहीं की जा सके, उस पर्टिकुलर इक्विपमेंट को इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट में कैटेगराइज की जाती है. The flourishing problem of managing e-waste is persistent in a country, not only for India, it's a global problem, but to a larger extent, India में जो सबसे बड़ी problem है, that is with regards to the management. और जिस तरह से urbanization हो रही है, digitalization हो रही है, population growth हो रही है, we are witnessing a hike in the electronic waste, but the fact is that people are not aware that how to discard that electronic waste. That is the biggest challenge that has been discussed in this editorial precisely. Now, the first set of e-waste rule was notified in 2011 and come into effect in 2012, where government has managed to overcome the problem. This was the first set of initiation that was made by the government of India. Now, EPR की concept लाई गई जब e-waste management and handling rule 2011 आई थी, उसे introduce किया गया और उस इंट्रोडक्शंस में EPR के कॉन्सेप्ट को लाया गया. EPR कंप्लायंसेस की अगर बात करें, जो प्रोड्यूसर्स है उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी फॉर द सेफ डिस्पोजेबल ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक प्रोडक्ट्स वंस द कंज्यूमर डिस्कार्ड देम, राइट. सो दिस वाज एन EPR दैट वर देयर अंडर द प्रोविजंस ऑफ ई-वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल हैंडलिंग 2011. ना उसके बाद गवर्नमेंट ने चेंजेस लाई और ई-वेस्ट रूल 2016 आया, विच amended in 2018 and provide for a comprehensive inclusions for the promote authorizations and product stewardship, right? Now कुछ और categories हैं उसमें that call for producer responsibility organization, जिसे PRO कहते हैं, PRO establishment करने की बात की गई है. This was introduced in the new rule, that is for 2016. Now, e-waste management rule 2022, after all other changes that government has incorporated, government has finally come up with the e-waste rule 2022. November 22 में इस rules को लाई गया. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has notified the e-waste rule 2022. And under this, it has replaced the earlier one, that is for 2016, which was effective from 1st of April 2023, which will be effective from 1st of April. Now, e-waste की अगर बात करें 2022 की, this will be extended with the new producer responsibility regime of e-wasting recycling. But उसमें भी कुछ ऐसे challenges हैं जिसे address नहीं की गई है. We'll see the bottlenecks and the challenges on that part. So what are the shortcoming of the new rules? जो नए rules आई उसके क्या क्या shortcoming है? There are 3 shortcoming that has been specifically there in this editorial. We'll see that. The first is the registration of stakeholders. जो stakeholder की registration है उस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया गया इस bill में, because the rule address some of the critical issues but silent on the part of registration of the stakeholders. The main chapter of the e-waste rule include the provision of EPR, that is extended producer responsibility, and foremost requirement being the registration of stakeholders, चाहे वो manufacturers हो, producers हो, reimburser हो या फिर recyclers हो, इन सारे की registrations is not that clear under the rules. Now the earlier rule has imposed seeking the authorization of by the stakeholders, and even जो weak monitoring system की वजह से इसकी implementation पूरी transparent नहीं हो पाई. Now the most reimbursers की अगर बात करें, the reimbursed article which you purchase from market and repair shop operating in the country are not authorized under the Center Pollution Control Board of India. तो ये ऐसे entities हैं, ऐसे पार्ट ऑफ फंक्शनिंग है हमारे सोसाइटी में जिसको सेंट्रल पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं करती. एंड डिजिटल सिस्टम अप्रोच इंट्रोड्यूस इन द न्यू रूल मे नाउ एड्रेस दिस चैलेंज. नाउ mentoring of e-waste recycling, the efficient e-waste recycling involved 2 important stages. 2 important stage है. जो पहली stage है वो है component recovery, जहाँ पे adequate और efficient recoveries of rare earth metal are taken into consideration, and residual disposal दूसरी है, that call for safe disposal of leftover residual of the e-waste. So there are 2 important part in e-waste recycling. First is component recovery and second is residual disposal. Rules briefly touch upon these 2 aspects but do not clearly state the requirement for the recovery tangents. Therefore, it is in order to maximize the efficacy and activities for the recycler that must be ordered in the system. Now, the third important component is neglecting the informal sector, and this is very, very important. You need to put impetus when you're writing in mains paper specifically. अगर mains के question attempt कर रहे हैं, in general studies paper 2 specifically they will ask you in general studies paper 3 also. तो आप informal sectors के बारे में बताएं कि informal sector एक बहुत ही crucial role they're handling on the part, because the recognition of the new rule has not taken into account for the legality of it. Why it is important? Because they are the one they face e-waste problem, and India के जो 95% e-waste है वो इनके through ही channelize होती है. They are the first responder of the e-waste. Suppose if you're disposing of any of your electronic waste, you give it to the people, the scrap shop over nearby to your place, right? So they're actually the part of informal sector which was not included under the bill. The provision has been neglected. So therefore, they must also hold immense potential to improve the state of e-waste management. तो उनके लिए awareness की भी जरूरत है ताकि उन्हें पता चले कि कैसे उन्हें handle करना है, right? So these are the major problems that the shortcomings in the bill is. Now, way forward, the first and foremost is in order to ensure the efficient implementations, the law, the stakeholders must take into the right to information and intend to have safe disposal of e-waste. उसके लिए कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीजों की जरूरत पड़ेगी. सबसे पहली जरूरत है इज इंक्रीजिंग द कंज्यूमर अवेयरनेस. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सेकेंड इज स्ट्रेंथनिंग द रिवर्स लॉजिस्टिक्स, building capacity of stakeholders, improving the existing infrastructure, enhancing the product design, rationalizing the input control or adopting the green procurement practices. अगर ये सारी चीजें incorporate होती हैं, definitely things will improve. And if you're writing in mains, These are very important points. And the new rule, the informal sector, which play a very crucial role in handling, has no recognition. So they should also be incorporated, and their recognition should also be established, and their responsibility should also be established. So this is how you can conclude this editorial part. Now, moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option was C. For second question, the correct option was C. Today's MCQ for practice, that is, consider the following statement about Border Security Force. It's a central armed police force function under the DRDO, and it was raised in 1965 aftermath of India-Pakistan war. Now, second is Indian Coast Guard Advanced Light Helicopter Mk3 Squadron. It will provide major flip abilities to Indian Coast Guard for security sensitive waters, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. It is indigenously manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautical Limited. So you have to consider the statement which among the following is correct one. And this was all about for today's discussion, followed by daily news and editorial analysis and the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.